Okay, long time no see. Okay, we're going to start this lesson with a quick review of the 5 steps that we just learned. I do have a little example right here that we can look at from last time. So number 1, establish a purpose. Okay, we want to find out if it's to persuade, to inform, to entertain. Step 2, we have identify the main idea. We want to identify the characters and setting if there are some. Try to put ourselves into the story the best we can from what we can see from outside the article. Step 3, prediction. We're going to make our prediction based on what the article gives us from around it. It can be anything. Remember, there's no wrong predictions. Step number 4 was vocab. Any vocab you don't remember or you don't know in there. And number 5, ask a question. So any question you want, any question that might be answered, might not be, but any question you want. Okay, so we talked about the before reading strategies last time. Now we're going to talk about the during reading strategies. And there's 3 that we're going to do here. And this process is a little bit different. There's not something that you have to write down with every step. But there are some that I strongly urge that you do write a few things down. Okay, so let's dive into it here. The first strategy that you're going to look at while you start the article, you've already gone through all your 5 steps. You know what it's about. You know what you're looking for. You're going to start reading. You're going to get about a third of the way down, and I want you to stop. You're going to stop. You're going to retell yourself what you just read. So you want to include main ideas, small details, anything that really stands out, or even something that you're like, oh, I don't know if, I'm going to remember that, so I'm just going to make a point about it. Okay, anything that is like that. This is to help you check for understanding. So if you're retelling yourself what happened and you're like, ooh, wait, this part's kind of missing, you can go back and figure it out before you move on. That way you're not all the way through the article and think, where did I get lost at? Mm-hmm. Okay, so this helps you check for understanding, make sure that you know what's going on. So after you stop and you retell what you just read, you want to see if they're accurate or not, your predictions. Oh, that's what you're doing. You're stopping and you're retelling to see if your predictions are correct or accurate. If not, you're going to change and adapt them. So in this first little example we had over here, my prediction was, which we will look at in a second, that the bear will be seen as a feared creature. So if I'm out there reading this and I notice that it's not accurate, it's not what I thought, I want to go ahead and mark it out, and I want to change my prediction, update it, because we know that this is no longer relevant. Let's do something that is. Okay, after that, this is the last strategy that you can use while you're reading. You want to develop new questions and try to answer your before reading questions. So the questions that we asked, these are the times that we want to see if we answer them. So when you stop, these are the 2 things. You want to stop to see if your predictions are right, change them if not. You want to see if your questions, if you can answer them, and change them if not. Or if you think of another question, it's good to jot it down. And if you answer it, jot that down. And those are 3 strategies. So I'm actually going to read this to you aloud, this article here. And then together we're going to go through the whole process that we've learned this far. We're going to go through the 5 steps, and then we're going to go through the 3 reading strategies. Okay. So, all right, I'm going to read this and you can just listen. The passage below is from a book called My Summer in the Sierra by John Muir, a record of his journey into the Sierra Nevada mountains in 1869. July 21st, 1869. Sketching on the dome. No rain, clouds. At noon, about a quarter filled the sky, casting shadows with fine effect on the white mountains at the heads of the streams and a soothing cover over the gardens during the warm hours. Saw a common housefly and a grasshopper and a brown bear. The fly and grasshopper paid me a merry visit on the top of the dome, and I paid a visit to the bear in the middle of a small garden meadow between the dome and the camp where he was standing, alert among the flowers as if he was willing to be seen to advantage. I had not gone more than a half a mile from the camp this morning when Carlo, who was trotting on a few yards ahead of me, came to a sudden cautious standstill. Down went tail and ears, and forward went his knowing nose while he seemed to be saying, "Ha! What's this, a bear, I guess?" Then a cautious advance of a few steps, setting his feet down softly like a hunting cat and questioning the air as to scent he had caught until all doubt vanished. Okay, so I'm about, I'd say a third, a fourth the way down. So I just want to stop and kind of retell myself what just happened. So this seems to be telling a story of a man that he wrote into a book. And this guy, he's seen a bear. He's been camping, he's seen him a couple times, and not a few miles from his camp, he sees him trotting. So that's where we're at. We see him up here, and then like a hunting cat, it says he spotted him until all doubt vanished. Okay, hold on. Right here. All right, back to, now let's look at our predictions. So these are the predictions that I had made before the lesson. The purpose of this, I had said, was to entertain. Our main idea was about a bear's life, a story of a bear, and I said the setting was the woods. So we can already tell that the main idea is probably not about a bear's life. It's probably more about the camper and his experiences with the bear. So I can already change this. I would mark it out and change it to a man's experience with a bear. Okay? And then my prediction I had made was the bear will be seen as a feared creature. Now, I'm not exactly sure if he's scared of him or not. It doesn't seem like he's super scared. It seems like he's more curious into the bear, I would say, don't you think? Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to completely mark that out because it could still be true. I'm just going to add the man is curious about the bear because that's what it's seeming like. Okay, and then down here to questions. That's our next thing that we want to look at. Is this based on a true event was my question. And it's from a book, and it doesn't say that if the book is true or not. But based on, I kind of think it's a true story. So I'm going to say yes, but we can't actually verify that through the book. So I'm going to say I think so, but not proven. Anyway, so if we have another question, that's when we would jot it down. So my question that I really have is this man scared of the bear or is he curious? So that's my question. And then we're going to keep reading. Okay. Yes, it's a bear. Come and I'll show you. Presently we came to where the sunbeams were streaming through between the purple shafts and the firs, which showed that we were nearing an open spot. And here Carlo came behind me, evidently sure that the bear was very near. So I crept to a low ridge of moraine, boulders on the edge of a narrow garden meadow, and in his meadow I felt pretty sure that the bear must be. I was anxious to get a good look at the sturdy mountaineer without alarming him, so drawing myself up noisily back of one of the largest trees, I peered past its bolding bushes, exposing only a part of my head, and there stood neighbor Bruin with a stone's throw, his hips covered by tall grass and flowers, and his front feet on the trunk of a fir that had fallen out into the meadow, which raised his head so high that it seemed to be standing erect. Okay, so I'm going to pause right there because I kind of think it answered one of my questions. Mm-hmm. He is a little bit scared of the bear because he's very cautious, right? So he is kind of feared of him, but at the same time, he's still curious. So that answered two of my questions right there. And so since that answered my questions, I would probably just jot down the answer. So that's what I'll do now. And then I'm going to come up with one more question because we have two. So we would come up with another one. Okay, so